In my experience, being a freelance photographer is not an easy career path. And mainly, I see 5 big struggles that freelance photographers face, myself included. And those 5 struggles are getting clients, setting your rates, updating your gear, gaining visibility, especially online, and achieving a consistent income. So today I want to chat to you and address all 5 points and offer you some solutions so you can make it a little bit easier for yourself and not struggle as much as a freelance photographer. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Katja. I'm a freelance photographer based in Berlin, Germany. And over the last 5 years, I have been building a photography business for myself and on this channel taking you with me on my journey. Okay, let's address getting clients as a first point. And I believe that there's a huge misconception in this area specifically, because I think that a lot of photographers think if they just develop their skill really well, if they just take amazing photos and put out amazing work and are talented, then clients will find them and clients will come. And I think this is a huge mistake that especially beginner photographers or inexperienced photographers make, but that I also see some veterans make. Some people who have been in the business for a long time and it has been working out for them in that way, simply overlook this one point, which is that you need a system for client acquisition. So being a photography freelancer is basically having and running your own business. The main concern of each business out there is customer acquisition. So how do we get customers to buy our products or to buy our services? And sometimes you can get by on being recommended from one person to the next and getting your clients that way. So you're not actually doing anything actively to attract new clients, but you're basically going about doing your jobs, and then these clients recommend you to their friends, their family, to other businesses, and so on. But the problem with that system is it's not a very reliable system. So the system that you need to adopt is to actually do some form of outreach. And that can be organic type of outreach by creating content online, feeding your Instagram feed. But what I would recommend, and I have a video where I talk about this actually, is to make a list of potential customers, maybe businesses that you want to work with or individuals that you want to work with, and do some form of sales. Because that way you're going to build a reliable system that you can implement whatever the economic times are. And I promise you, once you start doing this, you will gain some experience and you will just get better and better at acquiring customers reliably. So the next point that I see a lot of people struggle with is to set their rates properly. Setting rates is just such a contentious point, especially in photography or any creative industry. And that's because putting a number to a creative output, to doing something artistic that is so close to your heart and connected to you as a person is very hard. Your personal identity and basically your ego gets entangled into this, and setting your own worth starts somehow being connected to your self-worth. So what I would recommend if you want to set your rates is to detach basically from your feelings a little bit and go about it systematically. I would make a calculation of how much money that you need to live and pay for all of your expenses in your life per month. Then you want to go and realistically think about how many gigs you can take on every month. And that would definitely depend on the niche that you're working in, because some gigs can be huge, like massive photography projects that, take multiple days to prep, multiple days to shoot, multiple days to edit. And then there could be a niche where you have like smaller one-on-one business portraits or stuff like that. So think about a number of gigs that you can realistically fulfill per week while also doing all the customer acquisition, doing your accounting, doing all of the other stuff that you need to be doing in your business and in your life, and set a realistic number, right? So then you're going to take the number that you came up first, what you need in terms of revenue to live per month, and you're going to divide it by the number of gigs that you can realistically fulfill every month. That will give you an inkling of what your rate should be. While calculating this, definitely take into account like all of that stuff, that taxes and expenses that are deduced from your revenue every month, so that you will be working with your net numbers. Another tip that I have for you for setting rates is to find photographers who are offering similar things to you. So they're offering similar packages, they're working in a similar niche, they are on a similar level of skill to you, and to actually ask those photographers what their rates are. I'm huge on like income transparency and not gatekeeping information from each other, because my personal opinion is that we can only benefit from that transparency. Because if you set your rates too low, then you will be undercutting your colleagues. So actually not sharing that information with each other can harm the business for everybody included. So if you know that a colleague is charging, say, $500 for a wedding or something, then you want to set your rates at the same level. Or if you think that you are offering something better, maybe even higher, but it will definitely keep you from undercutting the rates. And to make sure, please talk to several colleagues and also talk to people who are a bit further along on their journey, so you can get some realistic numbers. Basically, you're doing market research to understand your niche and your rates. So the next struggle that we all definitely have is keeping up with new gear demands. As you progress as a photography freelancer, you will want to update your gear, because the gear that you usually start with is like a beginner's kit, and you will specialize further and further in your niche. You will develop your skill, your taste, and you will need new cameras, new lenses, and new equipment to keep up with the times. And that's actually where today's sponsor of this video is coming in, which is MPB. MPB is a platform where you can buy and sell used photography gear. All gear that is sold on the platform has been vetted and tested by the experts working for MPB. So when you buy your gear used from the platform, you can be sure that everything is working properly, has been checked for any damage, mistakes, and stuff like that, and also get a warranty on your purchases. You can browse the platform for thousands of up-to-date camera bodies and lenses, and also photography adjacent things like tripods, bags, and anything that your heart may desire. You will be saving some money and also saving the environment, because you are buying things used and not brand new. And if you have old gear lying around that you are no longer using, you can actually get a quote for your gear on MPB and sell them any equipment that you no longer need. So if you need new gear but you don't want to break the bank, check out mpb.com, and I'll link everything for you below so it's easily accessible. I thank MPB for sponsoring this segment of the video. And now on to the next point. My view is that if you want to progress anywhere in any type of career today, you need to have visibility. And especially if you're a freelance photographer and basically are running your own business. We've already spoken about customer acquisition and how that's at the heart of every business. And the second part is actually marketing. I know that a lot of you don't want to hear this and are struggling, especially with that point, because you are used to be behind the camera. I think photographers are often people who like to hide a little bit and not put themselves in the spotlight necessarily. But having visibility is crucial in this job, because not only will it help you to gain new customers and jobs and gigs, but it will also bring new opportunities your way that you haven't even thought of before. Exposure is super important. Being published in magazines or books, having exhibitions if you are into artistic photography, having a following online so people know who you are and what your work stands for. All of these things are part of being visible to the world and basically showcasing your work. We are working in a visual medium after all, so being visible is super important to progress, to grow, and to get opportunities to develop further. So the question here is, where do you start with building visibility and gaining visibility? So I would say to that, social media is definitely the easiest entry point because it doesn't cost any money. It just costs a little bit of time and effort, and it can build and scale into something incredible over time. Pick a platform, whether that's Instagram, YouTube, or if you're more familiar in the corporate world, LinkedIn, and start putting your work out there. I know it can feel cringe in the beginning to share your work with the world, but I promise you that it will be worth it for the trajectory of your career. And I actually think that in the future, it might be close to impossible to work in those fields without having that kind of visibility. So the next struggle I want to talk about is achieving consistent income. So achieving consistent income is different from getting clients, because getting clients can mean anything. It could mean you have one client that pays you $400 one month, and then you have 3 clients that pay you $1,000 each next month, and then the next month you don't have any clients, and then the next month you have 10 clients paying you $200 each. So getting clients consistently is not the same as achieving consistent income. So to achieve consistent income, you actually have to have a plan and a structure in place to get there. It's nothing that just happens by accident or by luck. And how you can do that is to set yourself an income goal and then break that goal down. So just like we would with setting your rate, you're going to make a calculation of, okay, I actually want to achieve a consistent income of $2,000 per month, and I can take on 4 clients per month. So adjusted with taxes and expenses, I need to charge each client $600, which makes, I think, $2,400 in gross revenue. I'm deducing the taxes, deducing the expenses, so I'm left with $2,000 per month. Okay, now, if I want to get $2,000 per month and 4 clients, what kind of clients do I need to attract and target, and how am I going to go about it? So you can see how all of this ties into each other and requires some strategic thinking and planning. And I also want to mention that diversifying your income by working in different niches, or, being hired as a photographer, but also as a videographer, and also selling prints, can help you to get to that consistent income. So don't put all of your eggs in one basket, and diversify. If you want to see more videos on these topics, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye bye.